Happy Homebrew Wednesday. It's Stass here. What a weekend it's been. I've had a couple of days to sort of recover from it, but I've been to Beervana over in Wellington in New Zealand. Yeah, what an awesome trip that was. But yeah, I thought I'd crack open a beer. This is my, well, not mine, it's an amber ale sent to me from House Park, so I've been hanging on to it for a little while. I'm going to give it a crack, and then we'll talk about Beervana. Little hiss. Smells malty. Pouring pretty clear. A little bit of carbonation, and I'll cut it short just in case it's bottle conditioned, which it looks like it is. Alright, it's quite a deep colour. It's like it looks brown on the camera, but it's more of like a ruby red. Yeah, the deep reddy brown. So not a lot of carbonation by the looks of things, but a little bit. Ooh. Nice malty smell. Just a little bit of roast character coming through, I think. It's a bit cold. And just a bit of an earthy aroma coming from the hops. Anyway, I'm going to let this warm up, but I'll do an initial taste anyway. Cheers, House Park. It's actually quite roasty. Well, for an amber, but it's sort of getting into that porter territory. Oh, good roasty, malty character. I'll come back to that. Anyway, Beervana. So, it's the first time I've travelled internationally for a beer festival, and it was a really positive experience. So I left on the Thursday, sort of late morning. Caught the train down to Sydney and met up with my mate John at Endeavour Tap Rooms, and sampled his wares and had some lunch there. I'll overlay some footage. It's always awesome catching up with an old mate. We started home brewing together. Well, I don't know, 12 plus years ago, 10, 12 years ago. And it's good to see what he's up to. He had I think it was a red rye IPA that would be brewed a couple of days, so it was still in fermentation, but just poured it out of the fermenter. There was a triple. He called it what did he call it? It was a cross between a triple and a duple. I think he called it a trouble. Yeah, it was a trouble. That's right. Very drinkable, but reasonably high alcohol. And his IPA, he'd been tweaking the recipe with, and I think there was a smoked beer in there. I might be getting mixed up with the last time I dropped in. Anyway, it was really nice. All the beers, really good. Endeavour, always love seeing what he's doing, working with Australian natural, native ingredients, and trying to do some stuff. Oh yeah, it was a sweet dessert stout that he was brewing. That was another one that I tried. Anyway, so got back on the train, headed to the airport, got on a plane, arrived in Wellington at local time of roughly midnight. I think it wasn't quite midnight, it was getting close. Messaged some of the other New Zealanders on Facebook saying, hey, I landed, and Chris from No Quarter Brewing, bless him, says, hey, do you want to pick up? What a gentleman. He just happened to be close by, and so he picked me up. And again, it's that story that a lot of people talk about. It certainly was like that when I first met Gash. But you talk to these brew tubers a lot, and you get to know them, but you never met them. And he's walked in to the airport terminal. We saw each other when we just got chatting, and I think it was like 1 o'clock or later by the time that I finally got out of the car and we went on our merry ways. But yeah, the next day we had big breakfast and headed to Beervana. I didn't take an awful lot of footage of Beervana. I was kind of just in the moment, but it was a really cool venue. It was like held in the stadium in like the outer donut area of the, so it's inside, but you had all these beautiful views opening up onto Wellington as you walked around the whole stadium. And not only was it a really nice location, but the way that it was held was really good. I don't often talk about this, but you know, you had to load up a wristband with cash, so there's no changing cash as you do that. It was all really well done. No real lines or waiting to get in or anything. Everything just seemed to go really well. Some of the beers that I tasted at Beervana, I reckon one of my favourites was from Whistling Sisters, their Red Duck Curry Ale, and you might think, ooh, but it was really good. It was, I looked at the ingredients that they said. It was coriander seed, galangal, ginger, kaffir lime leaves, red rice, and they put roast duck in a hot back. But that was with shepherd's delight and wheat and something else, I can't remember. But yeah, I think it's like a Beervana only, and I think that was really awesome. Like, it just nailed all the flavours of red duck curry, and it was really pleasant to drink. We took on some garage project beers. There was 3 sours. I'll put a little montage at the end. Like a red one, an orange one, and a green one. And they were full-on fruit sours. Like, I think these were kettle soured. And maybe, I don't know if they were all one big batch that was soured, and then they chucked a heap of fruit at them. Like, the orange one was mango, the green one was kiwi fruit, and I think the red one was guava and something. I had the red one, and it was probably the most intense of them, and just a little bit of vom coming off the nose. It sounds awful when you say it like that, and I didn't particularly like it at first, but once your palate gets used to it, it was actually all right. They had their verboten Früchte, or forbidden fruit, which was like an effort Friday. It was an imperial cream ale on the bottom, a chocolate Schwarzbier, I think, or dark lager at least, same thing. And then on top it was freeze-dried cherries sprinkled on top. That was interesting. Don't know that I'd like a lot of it, but yeah, it's good. Had an awful lot of IPAs and West Coast IPAs, a couple of big porters and stouts. Stuff from Liberty was awesome. Stuff from there was just so many good beers. A lot, and like most of them, I don't get a lot of in Australia. I mean, I've heard of Liberty, and I can get Liberty. I can get 8 wide and things like that, but lots of variations. But yeah, so yeah, I was there for two day sessions. Bumped into Finney's Home Brew, and also bumped into Alana Reeves from Mountain Goat, which was cool. They held a Beat the Brewer competition, like 4 of them throughout. And the brewer from Liberty, I'm forgetting his name, but it was all really awesome. Basically, you enter and you get the official, well, the real recipe, supposedly, of the beer, and you try and clone it or brew it to the best of your ability. They all get sent in unmarked bottles, and they're lined up. I think we had 25 to 30 beers, all of this one beer, and the brewer came in and tasted them all and gave feedback, really brief feedback. I mean, there's 25 beers, but I was so impressed. He was just a next level in terms of, you know, identifying, oh yeah, this fault, this is close, but it's a different malt, so it's a bit this, and he was about halfway through, and he said, yep, that's mine, and just put it aside. And yeah, super knowledgeable guy, and a really cool competition to see it happen. And yeah, I think it's a really awesome idea. After that, what do? We went to the backbencher where all the pollies hang out, and they have some cool paper mache sculptures of the pollies. Then we headed back to Tim from Huntsman Brewing. He was staying at a hotel where we were actually really well behaved at Beervana, just to backtrack. I only had tasters, and I was doing the beer water all the time. It was really good. Like, I wasn't sober, but I certainly was not drunk when I left Beervana. Then we got back to the hotel, and they were serving a 9% Panhead pineapple IPA in schooner glasses, which is, I don't know, it's not as much as a pint, but it's I think it's about 375 ml. And so yeah, that's where the night started to fall off its bicycle for me. Then we went to Little Beer Quarter. Sorry, I've got my notes over here. I don't really remember what I drank there. I remember we walked around for ages trying to find our way. We were misled several times. Then we went to Fork and Brewer, where we had a miso stout. And Fork and Brewer has like 30 or so taps that are all theirs. There's no guest taps. Yeah, and well, the beers that I remember having, I don't think I had that many. They're all good, but as a group, we all sampled quite a lot. We bumped into Laser Wolf there, so yeah, it was good to see you there, Laser Wolf, and we also saw him the next day at Beervana also. Second day, Beervana, more or less the same. Didn't get an awful lot of footage from there. But then we went to the Garage Project Wild Workshop, which was awesome and really cool. I did get some footage there. We tried every beer on tap as a group, and we were sharing each other. And they were all just so good. At Gabs, I hit a lot of sours. I didn't hit a lot of sours at Beervana, but the Wild Workshop definitely made up for it. And they had a beer there that was called Faith No Small, which was like a 8.5% stout, that was like a sweet stout with the marshmallows, and oh my god, it was so good. And yeah, they had a pale ale, so it wasn't all sours. That was just, it was such a good pale ale. It wasn't bitter, but like the aroma out of it was so detailed. It had all the tropical fruits. But yeah, I'm probably just, I don't know. Then we went to Fortune Favours, Golding's Free Dive, and Husk to finish off the night. But yeah, it was all just sort of beer. On the Sunday I had a bit of a recovery recovery brunch with an old schoolmate who lives in Wellington, which was really nice. Got to hang out with him, and he drove me around. It's a really pretty place, Wellington, and we were blessed with really good weather as well. But yeah, so heaps of beer, and big thanks to Carl from Floor Sweepers Union, Tim from Huntsman Brewing, and Chris from No Quarter Brewing. Thanks, lads, for it's great to sort of hang out in the core group, and all partners and friends and everyone that sort of joined in our posse. So yeah, it was really awesome. I'll put on the Jesus Christ, we're at 14 minutes already. You probably don't even want to watch the Beervana thing. Maybe I'll just make it a separate video, and if you want to watch it, you can. Coming back to this amber. It's a really drinkable beer. For me, an amber beer should have a little bit more sweetness. This has got a little bit too heavy on the roast, which, excuse me, and could be a little bit of astringency just right at the back. Yeah, it's got a nice little subtle chocolate note in it, which is nice. From memory, in an amber, it's probably not to style. And there's a smell off the nose. Where else would you smell it? I'm pretty sure it was in your pale ale as well. Could be something to do with your water profile. I'm not quite sure what sort of water you use. I don't think it's chlorine. I know in Newcastle we have really heavily chlorinated water. I've been talking with a home brewer who's just starting, and he's super keen to get feedback on his beers, and everything just seemed really dull, like in terms of the hops. And I was like, oh, it might be chlorine, man. It just doesn't taste quite right. And went and tasted the 4 beers that he had fermenting at the time. I'm like, yeah, I'm pretty sure it's all the same sort of flavour signature. And I tasted a stout where he had treated the water for chlorine, and that didn't have it. So it'd be interesting to see. He's now fixed that with canned tablets. So anyway. Oh, this is a waffle. I apologise. Yeah, I mean, that's what I honestly think, man. It's a really nice beer, but it's probably not quite an amber ale. It's more sort of amber ales leading into porter. It does have a nice... Yeah, it's really nice beer. It's earthy sort of nose. Anyway, I'll continue to enjoy the rest of this, and yeah, I think this being sort of 17 minutes without the montage, I think Beervana is going to be a separate video. So yeah, thanks guys for sticking around if you're still here, and I hope everyone has a great week, and I will come at you with another video or two. Phil's Wish is about to go into the keg. I've got brew day done, brew day footage sort of done. Should I make it a grain to glass, or should I just release the brew day footage? Let me know in the comment down below. Anyway, I've taken up enough of your time. So this is Stass from Stass Brewing, signing out. Cheers.